Well, the typical Tuesday morning, August 8th, they said there was a fire up Lahaina Luna. At about 1 o'clock, the fire was already done. It was out. Then they said another fire had started, and it was gusty. I mean, it was 70, 80, 90 miles an hour wind. There were trees down, there were, power lines down on the road, and then all of a sudden it hit the town.
On Maui, it appears a fire crisis is unfolding as we speak.
The county confirms several active fires on the island, including a big blaze in Lahaina.
It didn't take long before it came down to where the Salvation Army was.
Within 15, 20 minutes, it was one street away from us. And I was fighting that with that garden hose, trying to shoot it down. And once it got onto the roof of our house, it was probably God saying, it's time to leave.
I had my wife's ashes in the chapel. The back part of the Salvation Army was already on fire. I was able to get back in, took my wife's ashes out from the chapel.
We got everybody, the core members and whatever people that was around homeless, and we said, just jump in the truck, let's go already. The core building and the quarters were already on fire. So we went onto the top of the bypass and looked down onto the town, and it was just a big cloud of dark smoke.
It kind of broke our heart because we thought it would never happen,
Everything is gone, our houses, our belongings. I mean, a lot of us that lived there most of their lives, And a lot of people lost their lives, 101, and basically we knew all of them. I didn't sleep that night because I already was thinking, what is the next thing we're going to have to do? And it was, we're going to have to feed the people.
Envoy Kevin and the team, they knew that their community was in trouble, so they immediately went to the kitchen with Captain Howards and began to prepare meals for those that they knew would need some physical sustenance. They did exactly what's in their character to do, and they immediately looked for the first need that they could meet as the Salvation Army.
So we started making meals that very next morning. We just put the stuff in a box truck. We cooked everything in a box truck. We fed the firemen, we fed everybody. We passed waters in the lines of cars. We started off with, 3 sites, then went to, 6 sites, went to 10 sites, and was just overwhelming. We was making over 1,000 meals per each one,
From August, when the fire hit that very first night, Salvation Army either fed or coordinated nearly 1 million meals.
That's what Salvation Army does. We bring the spiritual part and the meal part.
Relationship is a huge part of the Hawaii culture as a whole, which shouldn't be surprising because it's actually part of the biblical culture. Everybody knows Envoy Kevin. Immediately after this disaster, when we would go anywhere in Maui without Envoy, the first question would be, how is Envoy Kevin? He's become a relational part of God's ministry to this island for well over 26 years.
Going to the different sites that were open, it made a difference because people seen me and I seen the other people, and they knew that we were alive, that we survived.
On an island in the middle of the Pacific, putting together a longer-term recovery plan is a little more difficult than, say, on the mainland, where you have multiple states, you have multiple resources to move people to, relocate people. The reality is, prior to the fires, there was limited housing on Maui. And so, as a result of the fires, there's even more limited housing on Maui. We understand this recovery is going to be a long time. We've, by God's grace, begun men's groups back again in Lahaina, and hopefully in our response, people have seen Christ.
I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. I mean, Salvation Army is, here in the community to keep it going, to keep that connection. This is going to take time to rebuild. And people say, we're going to rebuild it the same way. And I said, no, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be definitely different. But, the spirit and the mission of Salvation Army is still going to be out there to meet the need, no matter what.
If you enjoyed this video, like it and share it. We are always posting content, so don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for helping us share change.